Alright, it's August 1st, 2021. Excuse me, Benjamin and Daniel came to visit me today. Alexander apparently was on they told me he was on some baseball tournament. Told me after the fact. I have no idea what that is. Danielle and Jason, the two pieces of shit assholes that stole my son, don't give me access to not only his person, but they also don't give me access to his schedule of baseball. And when I can see him attend and whatnot, they've totally taken over Alexander's life, and they're a real fucking piece of shit. And I really fucking hope they both fucking bleed through the nose and eyes and die. And so I can get my son back. Let's see. So am I grateful for having either one of them? No, definitely fucking not. Alright, so now I saw Ben tonight, and my thing about Benjamin is I'm like, alright, Ben, I was like, listen, I got a lot to tell you. I was like, alright, so now I want you to walk through this with me, alright, in a parallel dimension kind of a way. I was like, there's the American Civil War, while they're trying to build the nation theoretically or hold on and sustain. They write American policy. It's already been set in motion when I arrive, before I arrive. I was like, that's the American domestic policy. Parallel to that, dimensionally, is while we're living this American result of what happens every day, elsewhere in heaven, they're fighting World War I and World War II and setting foreign precedents and foreign standard via the interconnectedness of the American system at the moment and the foreign system. So we have domestic policy and we have foreign policy. I said, so Ben, I said, how is American domestic or foreign policy written? I'm just curious. He goes, hell if I know. He's like, I don't know it. I was like, right, okay. Usually it's written like planet, well in advance you plan. I was like, however, there's a couple of things that I know that are off, and it's really difficult to speak about. But it's part of my problem while I'm here in the Americas. But just know that American Civil War that they talk about in class, like as if it already happened, like with the British invading and like all right. I mean, they talk about the CROA-TOW-IN, which I'm pretty sure are the Croatian. I think I left that one out. But then they go disappearing in America. That much I remember. Like a whole forest of trees just disappearing. I did mention to Benjamin because Jason Peter Romer, 1976, calls his new wife D. I'm like, right, okay, so just remind me, Benjamin, in World War I or II history, D-Day is the Bay of Pigs invasion, and they lose the entire beach full of American soldiers. It was like the bloodiest bath ever. And it's named after D. It's D-Day. And Ben was like, I'm like, it's that easy. He's like, oh, well, I think you're connecting dots that aren't there. I'm like, shh. I don't take from you. I'm giving pearls of wisdom. I was like, it might not make sense now. Just absorb it in. And then as you go out, you quietly observe, and you may be able to build something, or it might click one day. I also showed him evidence of the America I am currently in. I own Dominion. I own ZA Nation, Z-A. ZA National has an electric grid problem where I'm horizontal energy, and that's my ZEUS+XENA connection. There's vertices of lightning striking. That's a different ZEUS and XENA connection, but that's where my betrothed is at the moment. to the best of my knowledge that I can gather from Universal, knowing if I'm trapped in a horizontal by myself without a fully set closed grid, they have to be holding him in some form of vertices of horizontal snap for lightning. Because the grid's not closed where it can run either way, and the electric around here has been compromised. It's not working for ZA Nation. I also noticed, I was showing Benjamin, I was trying to explain to him about flags and the importance of flags in this the internet. I said, Benjamin, I was like, let me scale it back. There's an internet that you know of. There's domain names that they sell. And then I was telling him there's an Ethernet. Connect the computer to the Ethernet, you use and he's like, cable. I'm like, great. That's an anchor, like a line that you can see physically. I was like, to build the understanding. I was like, but the computer connects to the internet sometimes all by itself. Then it sends out radio frequency. So I can get him only so far, and then I lose him completely. But again, it's the horizontal energy. I was talking to Freddie earlier today. He doesn't get it either. And I'm like, oh my god, the Americans are really having a problem. So anyway, so I'm like, alright, so World War I for certain, and World War II for certain, and the American Civil War for certain are going on at the exact same time. And at the moment, it looks like we are losing World War I and II at the same time during this American Revolution that's really dangerous. I am now in complete biological terror. As a terraform, I'm in complete biological terror. Lewis says tonight, so he's like, do you know about epigenetics? I was like, yeah. I was like, what do you mean, like superficial genetics? And then he like went off into some kind of like tangent that humans use to like keep each other busy. And I'm like, right, okay, so here's the thing, Lou. I was like, epigenetics, tell me what you know, right? I was like, okay, I got enough. I'm good. Shut off. I was like, there's transcriptase and there's a magnet. If you have a supermagnet being like a zenith in the poles between the Polaris, I was like, it can turn on and off genes and genetics like a light switch. I was like, currently I have like in the top of my knee here, it feels like it's a deep tissue and it's epigenetics. It's a connection within the ZA format that I have on file somewhere. It feels like if you eat something called Pop Rocks, Poprocks, it like fizzes in your mouth. I don't know what it's made of. I don't know what chemical compound it is, but they say it's not toxic. I've tried it. You put it in your mouth and it fizzes and it goes like inside your mouth, like as if you swallowed a bee. That's the kind of radio wave frequency that has hit my knee, like just above my kneecap, and then it stays like a sticky factor, and it causes a swelling. The swelling then occludes the mechanics of the myelin with the outer atmosphere because the chemistry is off, the osmotics are off, the diffusion is off. So for me, as I walk, the hinge being able to move is compromised. The function, the natural organic function of my hinge joint has been compromised. So as I'm walking, I have this, and I said to some locals, I said, it's almost, I wanted to know if they knew where I could report heresy. And I said, it's almost like as if I bumped into by accident in physicality, like the side of a table with my knee, and I just kept hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, and then all of a sudden my knee swells up, and then that's what it feels like. But it's that after effect of swelling, but sometimes I can feel the zzz of the radio wave hitting this, tuning into this one specific joint spot just above my knee mechanics that I need in order to have like normal flow within the environment. between the interstitial space, the muscle movement without injury, and then the organic movement of the human anatomy. But again, that, I mean, we do box and box and box theorem when we're doing this in-depth of diagnostics on the human animate. When I'm in happily ever after with where I belong, I don't quite understand why here, they don't even, I mean, they've heard headliners, but they don't know what it means. And then when you try to posture it for them and build them a visual interpretation, they just shut off. And they're like, oh, I don't get it. And I'm like, do you not get it? Or are you just trying to fucking ignore me, you fucking stupid shits? I swear to God, it's like I'm stuck in a fucking room. I got raped, so now I got 4 children who don't even want to fucking talk about anything important. They just want to fucking play video games. I try to tie in their, like, urban legend, like, oh my God, like, here's the thing, like, this Greenwood, right? I was like, it's a cemetery. I was like back in the day when, like, there was brethren and whatnot, like, you died and then you went to hell, right? So I'm in hell. They have a cemetery here. It's like a diorama, like a mini schematic of how the investment from World War I and II and the people elsewhere, the good people of conservatorship and landmarks in national preservation, invested or thought they invested in the United States and the North America. And there's a outline of that. And then there's what's actually been built out in the landscape. But we've had this uprising of some civil, like, Sudan nation, I don't know why, in the interim, and then that's taken over, like, selling, like, GoDaddy. They've now infested sports, and that thing's blown up. I mean, like, there's so many off-roads that these fucking shitbag humans have taken, and I'm like, why am I fucking stuck in a fucking room while they're all going to the Winter and Summer Olympics, playing for some U.S.A that doesn't fucking exist, and they're pushing me down the road of a parallel dimension where I actually get fucking hit really fucking hard, and large sections of the population just totally fucking disappear and go extinct. Why the fuck? Freddie was telling me today, when he was born in like 1941, there was 2 trillion people. He said in today's terms, there's 8 trillion. I'm like, why? Why was there so much holding on to people? How did it grow that substantially? It doesn't make sense at all. But what I will tell you is, on my way home, I was speaking to a gentleman about heresy. I said, where would I even, like, heretic laws? Like, do you know what kind of lawyer would know about such things and about reporting? I know it's like 16th century. Like, it's really important, but I have a qualification as a 16th century centurion. So, like, it's uber important that I report this, but they didn't build me a Singer sewing machine building in Manhattan. They, I think, went with the Chrysler plan instead. And so with Chrysler came mass genocide of all of the good patrons and people and patriots, because I can't find a useful white person anywhere. I mean, they come to visit my horizontal electric grid, but they, I guess, are living in a vertical electric strike. I have no clue why this is so difficult for you all to get right. I mean, like, all of the missing pieces for the puzzle, 3D puzzle, is there. Why does everybody act so foully? Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza.